All right, everybody, welcome to the All-Star Sports Report for episode number 5.
Yes,
Is it 5?
5.
Yeah, it is
It
5.
is
Okay,
5.
cool. Episode 5. I'm Gary, your host. That's Kim Pugio. He's your other host. But we're here. It's been a week. It's been a day. I just got back from being in downtown Indianapolis most of this afternoon, so yeah, I finished up. I hung out with Michael Eckhart and Zach Murtis a little bit. Friends of the show, friends of the stream. So good to see them as we've got already some likes and shares going on already. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. You're already a better host than I am.
It's all right. You've had a busy day, so
Yeah,
I got you.
it's been a day, and it's going to be a long night too once we're done here. But that's not the point. I went to the Straight No Chaser concert today. They're doing their Top Shelf tour. They did throw a little bit of a Christmas spin on it because we're holiday seasons.
There you go.
I have listened to them before, so I like their music, and they're an a cappella group, so it's pretty cool. They've got like 10 members in that band, from bass all the way up to tenor. And
Okay.
it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. They did Sing Back Home Again in Indiana. It was 2015. So the first year after Neighbors retired. Then they got the Blackhawks guy. I can never say his name. I don't know.
Jim Cornelius.
Yeah, that guy, Jim. They went from Jim Neighbors to Jim Cornelius. So I mean, they might as well just keep it in the Jim family, I guess.
They both got the voice for it, so it works.
Jim Neighbors really had the microphone position for it. If you know, you know. But if you don't know, then we'll just let that be our secret. Okay, so, but that was cool, and then we went to this place called Brew Burger, literally right across the street from the venue afterwards, and that was fun.
Oh, there you go.
Then it was an adventure after that. It was all downhill until I finally was able to get back to my car. So we'll just see with that.
Okay.
But regardless, we're here. And it's going to be a good show tonight. We got a lot of good things in store. It's going to be fun. I'm hoping laugh-filled. If not, then it is what it is. We didn't do a good job. But I think we are in... And this is going to look so professional. Whoop. Anyways, you didn't see it. We are in for a good show here tonight. Really looking forward to what we've got planned and prepared. As you guys know, college football playoff selection Sunday was last week. So, let's go ahead. I'm pulling up a bracket right now on Google. As you know, that's how prepared I am. So let's go ahead and talk about this bracket in the playoff. And, it's definitely interesting.
I'm just glad Alabama did not get in.
I'm just really confused of with the ranking and then how they get placed and all that. So hopefully somebody can explain this to me as we move forward. But your top 4 seeds, even though they're not ranked top 4, whatever, they have a bye, so they're not playing this week. But it's Oregon, Arizona State, Georgia, and Boise State. But if I look at their numbers in parentheses, it's 1, 12, 2, and 9.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. But moving forward here, we've got a lot of stuff going on. And I just want to say, the ACC of the Power 4, they did not get a first-round bye.
They did not.
To one of the group of 5.
Which was good to see. I don't think SMU or Clemson really deserved a first-round bye. That's just my opinion.
I think if SMU would have pulled that game out, they would have.
Yeah, I agree. I can agree with that. I think that game kind of hurt them.
But Boise State has had a heck of a season. I know they played in the Mountain West, but still, I mean, what Genty has been able to do. I mean, Marshall Faulk basically played in the same conference when he went to San Diego State those many, many years ago. Skillet Amigo says, "Go Hoosiers." Hi, Skillet. Good to see you.
Remind me after we get done with the football talk about this, the playoff. I can tell you who won the Heisman, and yeah.
Oh, they announced that today finally?
They did.
Cool. We'll get into that. I haven't seen anything. I haven't been on my phone all day, so if Genty didn't win, I'm going to be very, very disappointed. We'll see what Mike says here in a little bit. I think that the look on his face says I'm about to be very disappointed. So, and I've been saying for years that it's just a glorified quarterback award. We might as well just name it the quarterback award, but we don't. So, but nonetheless, Boise State at 3. Or well, yeah, at 3. So Oregon 1, Georgia 2, Boise State 3, Arizona State is number 4. And so then we've got an 8 and 9 matchup between Ohio State and Tennessee. That is in Columbus. I think I've told you this once. I'm going to tell you again. And I will keep telling you. If Ryan Day loses this game, bye-bye. Bye-bye to Ohio State. Because you haven't beat Michigan in 4 years. You're 1-4 against Michigan. Throwing it out there. And Ohio State only cares about 2 things: national title and beating the hell out of university. The only 2 things you care about. And you can't, and you have failed to deliver both year after year after year after year. You've been there 5 years. Granted, you made the playoff a couple years ago with C.J. Stroud and Marvin Harrison and those guys.
Yep.
But you didn't win. You didn't beat Georgia. Now, Georgia went on to win the national championship, but it still didn't beat them. And that's what Ohio State fans care about, is what are you doing in the playoff, and are you beating Michigan? You're a 21-point favorite at home against a walk-on quarterback. You couldn't pass. You couldn't run. You couldn't do crap. And you only put up 10 points. Now, I will say, we did play Michigan a couple weeks prior to that game against Ohio State, And I will say, Moore is a hell of a coach. Wink Martindale, who's the defensive coordinator there at Michigan, phenomenal game plan. He knows what he's doing. He's a former defensive coordinator in the NFL. I mean, he made sure that his boys are ready to play. And against us at IU, they laid the wood all game long. All game long. It didn't matter. First quarter, all the way to the end of the game. They did not let up. They are a very relentless team. If they would have had a competent offensive play caller and a competent quarterback this season, they probably win another night.
Yeah.
Because with the rest of the talent around them, if you look at the running game, if you look at who they had at tight end, their offensive line was pretty decent. It wasn't as good as last year's offensive line, but it was still pretty solid for a Michigan line. To me, they probably could have done it again if they would have just had the quarterback.
You want to hear something very interesting, though, especially the whole Ohio State-Michigan thing?
Yeah.
You know how Kirk Herbstreit went to Ohio State and everything?
Yeah,
right?
his son committed to Michigan.
Yep. That's exactly what I was going to say.
But, I don't think he cares.
I don't think he cares, but,
I don't think he cares.
But, I mean, I don't think he cares, but I can kind of tell you how. Yeah, especially maybe he knows something that if Ryan Day doesn't make it this far in the playoffs, that Ryan Day's canned.
Well, not even necessarily that. I think it's just one of those things like with the Manning family, right? I know this is completely different from the Herbstreits to the Mannings because the Mannings went on to play in the NFL and they were pretty good. Herbstreit just played a couple years at Ohio State and sucked. No offense.
Yeah.
Great commentator. Lovely guy. Great human being. But, I mean, he played okay in college and that's about it for him. But, if you look at with the Manning kids, 2 out of the 3 Manning kids went to Ole Miss. Alabama. Wow. You guys could roast me for that one, it's fine. But, Peyton went to Tennessee. Now, I don't think Archie cared. Because I think when you're a parent, you want what's best for your kids. And if your kids think that going to Tennessee over Ole Miss or Michigan over Ohio State will be the best for you in your situation, you got to do it.
Yeah.
Now, do I see Chase Herbstreit playing all 4 years at Michigan? I don't.
No.
Because they've also got the number 1 quarterback in the country that they just recruited that's coming in here in the fall.
Yes.
Or in the spring or whatever. So, Quarterback battle, maybe, maybe not, but definitely would be an upgrade over Davis Warren. Just saying.
Yeah.
But Skill's talking about couldn't run, couldn't pass, couldn't kick, but darn it, don't plant the flag. He's in Ohio State. And I agree with you, Ian, wholeheartedly. Skill, I agree with you wholeheartedly. But at the same time, the Ohio State band needs to stop messing with the Michigan State flag every week. Like the University of Michigan. They need to stop messing with the college flag.
Yeah.
Because they can see that. So, of course, they're going to try to plant their flag in the middle of the field. Now, it ain't going to get planted very well because you know what's under artificial turf, Mike?
Concrete.
Yeah. So that flag ain't going anywhere. So if you really want to get on somebody, get on your band for sitting there messing with the flag every week.
Yeah.
Because the Michigan
That's
kids
true.
see that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Ohio State, though, is a phenomenal marching band. They're great. They're right up there with Indiana, in my opinion, as far as other shows to put on halftime.
Mm-hmm.
But I see it both ways here. Now, did they need to plant the flag? Now, I thought what was really sad, and I said this from the beginning, Ohio State showed more fight during the fight than they did on the actual football field. During the entire game. They showed more fight post-game than they did in the first 60 minutes when they were supposed to be playing this game.
Yeah, and Ryan Day just stood there cold-faced like,
Sorry. But that's basically what it was.
I mean, you're right. Yeah. Here comes AJ in the comments. Like, what'd
Yeah,
you say?
right. Sorry. I know not to say that word. I apologize. But that's basically what his reaction was. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But okay, so we got Ohio State versus Tennessee, 8 and 9 seed. That game's gonna be.
Go Tennessee.
Excuse me. You've got Texas versus Clemson. That's a 5-12 game. That's gonna be in Austin.
Go Texas.
I really don't see Clemson. I love Clemson.
I don't either.
They're one of my favorite college football programs in the country because I love the quarterbacks that have played for them, except for Deshaun Watson. But I can't really hate for what he did as a college player because he was phenomenal. It's just his NFL stuff that's... Yeah.
Even Taj Boyd? Wasn't Taj Boyd at Clemson?
Boyd was my favorite. I love Taj Boyd. He just... His game didn't translate well to the NFL because I didn't think he really had the pro caliber arm. I thought he was a phenomenal athlete, but
kind of reminds me of the comparison to EJ Manuel at Florida State because he was pretty decent at Florida State, but he didn't have the NFL arm.
No, EJ had the NFL arm. I thought at Florida State he just didn't have the accuracy, and that was really before we had like these quarterback specialists like Jordan Palmer working with guys in the offseason, working on their mechanics, working on their mental capabilities to play the quarterback position. That was when the teams kind of just put it all on themselves, where now they got all these quarterback specials that you can go to. But I thought DJ, I thought he played okay. I thought he had a decent NFL arm, like that he could have played and been a really good starter. It's just he wasn't able to put it all together.
Yeah.
And I thought he got drafted way too high. He should not have been. I mean, he should have been the first quarterback taken, don't get me wrong. But I thought middle of the first round there by the Bills back in the day, you could have got him in the second round. I really do. Like he would have been there round 2.
Yeah.
Especially with the Bills were picking round 2. So. But yeah, I love Clemson. They're one of my top 3 college teams that I'll follow. It's IU first and foremost. I like seeing all the other Indiana teams do well except for Purdue. But Notre Dame I kind of follow here and there. Depends on what they got going on that year.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, we'll get to that matchup here in a second. I'm actually going to skip it.
Yeah, I was going to say you better skip that.
This 6-11 matchup between Penn State and SMU.
Go Penn State.
You know how we talk about like the 6 and the 11 seed in the basketball tournament every year?
You think?
Of that being a pretty good game or the 7-10 seed being a pretty good game? I think this Penn State SMU game is going to be closer than what people think. Now, I know SMU plays in Texas, good weather all the time, but I think Penn State's probably going to pull this out because it's going to be cold. The hell, it might be snowing up there in upstate Pennsylvania.
They're going to be doing the whiteout too.
Of course they are. But I think that game is good. I think that game is going to be closer than what people think. I still think Penn State's probably going to pull out the win. I like the Mustangs. The Pony Express is hilarious to me. So I don't know. I would care. I would love Penn State a little more if they didn't have two certain coaches on that team. Tom Allen, former Indiana head coach.
That's right.
And if you look at what they did against Oregon, they couldn't stop nothing.
No, they couldn't.
So Tom Allen's defense didn't love each other enough to win the game. And then two, Franklin's got to go.
You think?
You've been there for a decade and you ain't done crap. But you could say you won 10 games a year because you lose to Michigan and Ohio State. Yeah, we're the third best team in the conference. But when we play the real teams, we suck.
Where would he go, though? That's my thing.
I think he would still get a Power 5 job. Or, sorry, Power 4 job. I don't know. He would need to have a bomb year like what Purdue had. Like, if he had a year like Purdue where they go like 2-10 or 1-11, 3-9, something like that, I think he'd get fired. Or hell, I mean, it depends on how tired the Penn State fans get tired of him only winning 10 games a year. Maybe if they go 6-6 a year, barely making a bowl game.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where you think about pulling the plug.
Yeah.
I do like Alar, their quarterback. I think he's pretty good. He's struggled.
Is it Alar? I thought it was Drew Aller. Is what it was. I thought it was
Aller, whatever. Number 15. I'll just call him Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
I thought he's been playing pretty good this year. Obviously struggled against Oregon. But I thought overall he's had a pretty solid year. For Penn State.
I think the only other time he struggles against USC because that game went to overtime out there.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised they struggled against USC because USC hasn't been great, but I mean, everybody has their games. We had that against Michigan and Ohio State.
Yeah. That is true.
But let's go ahead and talk about this 7-10 matchup. Notre Dame, IU. It's in South Bend. Likely going to be snowing, I have a feeling.
And College Game Day is there pregame.
Cool, I guess. $2,000 a ticket, though. That's wild. That is wild.
Or as our good buddy Peyton says, he's going to go. So
yeah, okay. Sell your kidneys. Maybe you'll be able to go. I'm just saying. Give up your and then maybe you'll be able to go. Just saying. I'll let you over there. You down there. Fill in the blank of what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But yeah. Nope. I'm good. I think I'll watch, obviously. I won't be watching Sunday Night Football. I'll tell you that right now. Whatever game they got going on next Sunday night, I don't care.
This game is prime time Friday night, not January 20th, December 20th. This Friday night.
Right.
Yep, Friday night.
Sorry, folks, you get the calendar. Regardless, SmackDown who?
Yeah, SmackDown who? That next week. Yep.
No WWE. I'm watching a football game. Sorry, guys. It's just I'm just being upfront. So obviously
we're gonna have some friendly competition next week. You and
he's
I are.
a Notre Dame fan. I'm the IU fan. Obviously, go Hoosiers.
Go Fighting Irish.
I think that game's gonna be pretty good.
I think so.
If I'm Kurt Signetti, I'm reaching out to Northern Illinois head coach. So
yeah. See what they did. How'd you guys beat them?
Honestly, and I told you this already, I'm going to tell it to our viewers here, or maybe 1, 2, or 3 viewers, however many there are watching right now. If you can make Riley Patterson throw the ball, make it to where he can't run, make him to a force to drop back and pass, I think we got a shot. You have to shut down the run game. You have to be very disciplined in the run game all night long.
Jeremiah Love will have something to say about that.
You got to shut him down. The run game, I think, shutting down the Notre Dame run game, make them one-dimensional. You got to make them throw. That's the only way you're going to beat them. If you can make them throw every play, you're going to have a shot. Our run defense has been pretty good. So I'm intrigued to see the run offense of Notre Dame going up against IU's run defense. It's been pretty stout this year.
You know what I think about all the games this coming Friday and Saturday? This game here between these two teams could be probably the game of the weekend, in my opinion.
Yeah, because I just really don't see the Texas-Clemson game being close. Penn State SMU could be, potentially, but I think Penn State pulls out the dub. Go Vols.
Yep.
Wait, I just
Go
said
Vols.
hook 'em.
He did.
Anyway.
He said hook 'em.
But go Vols. I will be the biggest Tennessee fan because I can't stand Ohio State. Sorry, Ian. I can't do it. Can't do it.
No, I can't either.
Go Vols.
But I think for the majority of the field that they did for the 12 teams, for the most part, I think they got it right. That's just
No,
my opinion.
I think they
got it right.
did. Alabama didn't deserve to be in. Ole Miss didn't deserve to be in.
No.
I'm okay with. Obviously, you got it. Oregon didn't.
Nope, they went undefeated.
Yeah, so I mean, you're gonna have your undefeated team, but yeah, you're gonna have to let some 1 and even 2 lost teams in.
And then since Notre Dame's an independent, you're gonna have at least Notre Dame, if they stay independent and they stay winning all
the time. I mean,
Yep.
I join a conference.
I agree. They should, in my opinion, like I've said for a couple of years, they should join the Big Ten at this point. But they're most likely would join the ACC.
They would
since
join
every
the
other
ACC
sport.
before they would join the Big Ten, and that's just because in literally every other sport except for hockey, they're in the ACC.
Yeah.
So I mean, to them, joining the ACC makes sense. They played in the ACC technically in 2020.
They did because COVID.
Because of COVID, and I think they went to the ACC championship game, and I think they won.
No, they got they got slaughtered by Clemson.
That's right, I forgot about that.
Because that game was a rematch because they beat Clemson.
Because they beat OJ. That's right, OJ Boogaloo, whatever his name, in the regular season. Because Trevor was out because of COVID. And then Trevor was there for the ACC title game and absolutely stomped their butt.
Yeah, because that game earlier that year in November, it was overtime, 47-40 Notre Dame, and then it was 34-10 in the ACC title game. Got their butts kicked.
Yeah, they did. I will say I like Dabo Swinney, but sometimes there are times, man, where he is just like a little over the top. There are times where I wish he would reel it in a little bit. Okay, bro. Really not that good. Let's not act like Nick Saban. Because you ain't Nick Saban. But I digress. But I think alright. So let's do this then. Ohio State, Tennessee, who you got?
Tennessee, all day Tennessee, because no way we're in for Ohio State.
And I think it's not really because I hate Ohio State. I don't think it's really that. I just think they're so soft mentally. And it comes from their head coach. Rumor has it Ryan Day is still looking for Lou Holtz.
He's a leader man.
It's a tough team. It's Ohio against the world. Anyways. Hello, Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast. How are y'all? Thanks for popping in and saying hello. So I'm also picking Tennessee. I'm not going to give you guys scores. It ain't worth it.
No.
But I will tell you I'm picking Texas Clemson. Yeah, I think it's going to be Texas too. I really don't think that game is going to be close, to be honest.
But before we move on to the next pick, but how about Georgia coming back and beating Texas in the SEC title game on a backup quarterback on the backup quarterback after their original quarterback Carson Beck got hurt, and then in overtime the backup quarterback got a shot to the head, and he had to go out of the game, and they scored the game-winning touchdown in overtime. Beat Texas.
I will say their backup though for Carson,
he's good.
Is just as good, if not better than Carson Beck.
Yeah,
I feel he played college football in the state of Georgia, where Trevor Lawrence came from, where Deshaun Watson came from, and he broke all their records.
Wow. Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah, so I mean that kid's good.
He's gonna be the future.
He's good. He's starting next year because I think Carson Beck's a senior anyway. It's kind of one of those situations where that Quinn Ewers is in, where Quinn could play another year if he wanted to, but if he plays for another year, it ain't gonna be for Texas. And I think Carson Beck is kind of in that same boat.
Yeah, those two will probably either go to the NFL or they will go transfer out.
I could see Quinn Ewers going to somewhere, not the NFL. I could see him transferring. Like maybe to a place like UCF or I'm blanking today. Colorado. Kind of be the bridge gap after Shedeur.
Yeah, but Colorado's already got the number 2 quarterback coming in to replace Shedeur.
Oh, that's right, they do.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. He'll end up somewhere. Like if he leaves, I can kind of see him going to USC. Honestly, I feel like that would be a solid shout.
Well, what about this though? This is very interesting. Jackson Arnold left Oklahoma to go to I think Auburn. I believe is Auburn or Ole Miss. Jackson Arnold.
It was Auburn.
Transferring.
It was Auburn. He went to go to Auburn. So yeah, I think that's going to be.
What if Quinn Ewers decides to go to Oklahoma?
Okay, so
I'm just throwing it out there. Okay?
So I was talking to a few Texas fans. I said, "What's the bigger rivalry, Oklahoma or Texas A&M?" You know what they all told me?
A&M.
It would have if Quinn Ewers went to Quinn Ewers going to Oklahoma is if Curtis Rourke went from IU to go on to play for another one of our big rivals is Illinois. If he went to go play for Illinois, not quite Purdue. We don't like Illinois, but we hate Purdue. Okay, it'd be like if he went to go play for Illinois. Now, if he would have transferred out and gone to play at A&M, it'd be like if Curtis Rourke went to go play for Purdue.
Yeah,
it's that rivalry there is big. People don't realize how good you have it till it's gone. We've been missing that rivalry for 12 years, 13 years. They haven't played since then because A&M went to go to the SEC.
And finally came back this year.
Well, because Texas joined the conference.
Yep.
Which isn't surprising because I remember when they were having all this conference realignment stuff in 2011 and 2012. Ultimately, that led to the downfall of the Big East, the original Big East, that became the American later, and the Big East is now a basketball conference. But
yep,
I remember there being a rumor of Texas going to at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But they ultimately SEC went with it. Which
go fight, win.
Go fight, lose. But yeah, I got Texas as well in that game. Notre Dame, IU, obviously house divided. You're picking Notre Dame. I'm going to pick IU. All right, next. Penn State, SMU.
Penn State.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to save the graphic. I'm going to pick SMU.
All right, repost this on Facebook, folks.
We don't have a graphic, but I'm going to pick SMU. This is just one of those games where I could see it being a trap game for Penn State. I don't know why, but we've seen Penn State time and time again get into these type of games that we know they should win.
Yeah.
And they don't.
My thing is with the winner of our game, Notre Dame and IU, whoever goes on.
Oh, we lose the next round. We play in Georgia.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, well, great, thanks.
Great, thanks. You get to play Georgia. Now, whoever goes and wins this Penn State SMU game is going to be very entertaining because they're playing Louisiana State.
Ooh, that is very entertaining.
That's going to be a good game. And then whoever wins the Texas Clemson game, they're playing Arizona State.
Who's Oregon playing?
The winner of the Ohio State Tennessee game.
Okay, that's
So we could see a potential rematch between Oregon and Ohio State.
Interesting. Interesting.
So that's gonna be interesting. And of course those 4 games, 4 games. Those are gonna be during New Year's.
Yep, the quarterfinals.
Those will be your New Year's 4 bowls or New Year's 6, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. They'll be played either New Year's Eve or New Year's Day.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll split them kind of like what they did last year, or what they've done the last decade. So it's gonna be interesting. As far as we get to that, so go ahead, Heisman. Who won?
Well, a lot of
Travis
people
Hunter?
Yep. Travis Hunter is the Heisman player winner, and a lot of people are very disappointed because Gentry got screwed.
Well, can't say I'm surprised. Now, I will say, if it was last year, Travis Hunter,
I could see it.
I could see a little more deserving in mind.
Well, I know you weren't in Discord at the time, but we had this conversation in Discord earlier, and I came up with this point. I said, "What has Travis Hunter done this year that?" Because it's like I haven't heard one single thing from him this year.
Well, that's like what the Oregon Ducks said on Pat McAfee's show the other week. Snaps ain't a stat, though.
I love the Duck, man. Okay, the Duck's awesome.
Now, the Duck had a pretty decent point. Like, I honestly, I feel like Hunter won the Heisman.
Dion.
He never left.
Yeah, and the Dion effect.
That's another point I want to bring up. So we're going to talk about Bill Belichick here in a minute, but Dion, you think he goes pro, or do you think he stays in Colorado? Because his kids are leaving; they're graduating, right? So
I think he stays. I think he stays another year at Colorado just because of the recruits that he's bringing in. I don't think he goes pro, but who knows? Maybe if Jerry Jones down there fires Mike McCarthy or doesn't resign Mike McCarthy, they throw him a crap ton of money.
Can't be. Yeah, because if Dion left, that would create an absolute crapshoot in the portal.
Oh yeah,
because all those kids are like, yeah, no, we ain't going to Colorado no more.
Yeah, basically.
But I just don't see Dion, like, his personality doesn't scream
NFL
coach to me.
No, I don't. I think he's where he's at in Colorado. I think that's where he's going to be for a while.
Yeah, I think he's going to stay there too for a while. People ain't going to like it, but he's.
And I know you're talking about
Nate Orlowski if you're watching.
I know you're talking about the transfer portal. Marshall had to, leave their bowl game coming up here because a lot of their players left to go to the transfer portal, and they don't have enough players to field a team in their. I think it's the first responder bowl or something like that.
Yeah. See, that's the thing with the portal, and you know what? We could talk about that a little bit.
Do it after the bowl games.
That is the one thing that I hate about the portal. We're just gonna leave. We made a bowl game, but screw it. We got a new coach. We don't care. Like there needs to be some rules with the portal. And you know who I think is gonna probably set those rules for the portal?
Who's that? You know what they should do with the portal?
As ironic as that is, but go ahead.
Yeah. You know what they should do with the transfer portal? They should set it up after the bowl games. Once all the bowl games are done, do what you got to do.
Yeah, because these kids they don't go back until they don't go back to school right until what, through January. Some places.
Yeah. Depending on where you're at.
Oh, hi Nate. I just flipped it over to multi-stream. Sorry. My bad. Oh yeah, Cal doesn't belong in the ACC either. You're right. Sorry, I'll catch up on comments now. But yeah, it should be after the New Year's bowl games. Arguably, you're not really going to be doing it if you're in the national championship game. You're not going to transfer, I don't think.
No.
But that's tough. I think January should be the cutoff for that. And honestly, here's how I look at it too. You get one free transfer. What I mean by that is, say you're committed to a place for a year or two, and your coach gets fired. there's your one-way ticket. You can go ahead and transfer somewhere else, play your last 2 or 3 years, however many years you got left in eligibility, and play without having to sit a year. But if you transfer for a second time, you got to sit a year, just like the old days. That will stop a lot of the movement, I feel, with the transfer portal. Because a lot of these 18, 19-year-old kids, they think they can still go pro.
Yeah.
And they're a second or third stringer at Alabama. It's like, bro, you didn't start at Alabama. So if you really wanted to start, why didn't you go to IU? Or why didn't you go to Purdue? Or why didn't you go to this place? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you really think you're that good, why didn't you go to those schools?
Yeah. I mean, that's very
because
fair.
I really do think some of the second and third string players in the SEC could go be studs in the Big Ten. That's some of the Big Ten schools, like going to Iowa or going to IU. I know I use IU, but I shouldn't say that anymore. But going to Maryland or going to Illinois or Purdue or whatever.
Northwestern,
right? Like, you could easily do that. Nate Orlowski says, guess they take the L. Definitely not the worst Marshall loss. By the way, Penn State, the We Are Penn State chant,
yeah,
they stole it from Marshall. I'm just saying.
I'm not surprised about that.
I'm just saying. They stole it from Marshall.
Well, my thing too with this Marshall thing.
Or Penn Sad University, okay? Not Penn State, it's Penn Sad. They were pretty sad walking out of Lucas Oil Stadium. That's say it.
Another thing with that Marshall thing, how many those players are going to go over to Rich Rod, who's at West Virginia now?
That actually, they don't really talk about it nowadays, but that actually was a really big rivalry back in the day. Marshall.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're all kind of in that same area there. You got West Virginia, you got Marshall, you've got Virginia Tech, JMU even now.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of schools in that area.
Hey, Rich Rod is going to have that culture turned around in a couple of years.
Just don't think he's.
We'll see.
He's that good. We'll see, but it's just like we keep recycling the same guys. Dan Mullen got a job.
Did he really? Because he was on TV.
Hold on, he did a good job. Say what school.
So he's leaving ESPN to go back to college football again?
Hold on.
Sorry, I didn't take long.
Gotta work the old Google machine.
That wasn't long because he was on ESPN for like 3 years.
He took the UNLV job. So Purdue hired the UNLV coach.
Okay.
And so Dan Mullen's going to UNLV. So he's not going to a Power 4. He's going to a group. He's going to Mountain. Or are they joining the Pac-2?
I don't know. I think they're in the Mountain West as far as I know.
Because I know like Boise State, Fresno State, and a few other like Mountain West schools joining Pac-2.
Oh, while you're talking, let me look that up.
Because I don't know when that's happening. I can't remember if UNLV was on that list. I could be wrong. Nate,
here we go.
If you want to talk about FCS playoffs, we should do that. By the way, at some point.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. We'd love to have you on next week.
Yes, Nate, come on.
If you're free. Next week.
If
you're listening.
You are correct. Boise State, Fresno State, Colorado State, Utah State, and San Diego State to join the Pac-12. So
it's all the states, not UNLV.
Mm-hmm. Memphis, USF, University of San Antonio, and Tulane to stay in the AAC.
Were they rumored to go to the Pac-2?
Yeah.
I'm going to keep calling it the Pac-2.
UNLV and Air Force are going to stay in the Mountain West.
And Nate, we normally record Fridays at 10 p.m. I know it's a little late for you, past your bedtime.
Well, I'll have to see about next week because ND and IU's playing. That game starts at 7 o'clock p.m. Central.
Oh, yeah. It'll be after the IU game.
Yep.
So it'll be after the IU Notre Dame game, all right? So one of us is going to be really happy. The other one's going to be University of Sad, okay? That's just how it is.
So, interesting thing before we move on, I was just finishing up this article about all those teams and everything. Northern Illinois and Mountain West conversations are picking up, supposedly.
That's a lateral move.
I don't
That's a
understand that
lateral
whole
move. Why?
I don't understand that. No, I don't either. Just saying the Mac.
I can do it. I'll be on 4 day. Oh, oh yeah, you have 4 days off. You'll be all right.
Good for you.
Cool. All right, Nate. That's the plan. Book it. Capizio, remind me because I'll forget.
I got you. I got you.
Sitting here booking guests left and right, and I don't even remember them. So, anyways, that's really bad. I'm sorry. But yeah, next week it's gonna be interesting. I'm curious to see who's gonna be in the Pac-12 because right now, you get all these schools that come to the Pac-12. It's just not gonna be a Power Five.
No.
I don't think with the current model that you can have 5 conferences. Now, if they were to expand the playoff to 16 teams,
well, in a couple years, it's going to be expanded again.
Now, here's what I think too, and people call me crazy and said I'm dead wrong for this, but I think the conferences are going to realign again. I don't think we're done.
No, I think they're going to be super conferences at some point here, real soon.
Well, not necessarily super conferences. I could see like all the schools that just left, like the Pac-12, going back to the Pac-12.
And what, reforming the Pac-12?
If there's expansion of the playoff,
which there is rumored to be. I think it's 2026.
Right. Now, what I want to see, every team should be independent. I don't think you should have conferences. Here's why. And I go back to the Chip Kelly thing, because Chip was absolutely right about this. Women's basketball, men's basketball, lacrosse, swimming, all the other sports, right?
Yep.
Hockey, okay? They did not ask, track and field, they did not ask to go from the Pac-12 to the Big Ten, or the Pac-12 to the ACC, or the Pac-12 to the Big 12, or, you see what I'm going with this.
Yep.
Or from the AAC to the ACC, okay, and that's a use case, right? They didn't ask to change conferences. They're all doing this for football because football generates the revenue, right?
Yep.
I think you need a commissioner. I think you need to take all the teams out of the Power 5, and you need to put them as independent.
Yep.
You have one commissioner over the entire thing. That's just not. And you want these players to be paid? You gotta treat them like pros. That's what I said.
Speaking about treating players as pros, you want to transition now to Bill
Nye, the football guy. I have to do it. I thought it was the greatest hire in North Carolina since I hired Dean Smith.
Even better than like Roy Williams? Really? Leaving Roy out of the dry?
He was already on the staff. Anyways, I like Roy Williams. Rest in peace. He's dead, right?
No, he's still alive.
Oh, he's still alive. Okay, sorry. Not rest in peace. Sorry, I put you in the grave too early. Talking about caskets out here.
Now you're gonna make me double check now.
Yeah, you are.
No, he's still alive.
So Nate made a good point, and Nate, you could save this for next week, but you're right. It would be the perfect time for Montana State, South Dakota State, North Dakota State to move to the Mountain West, but probably won't. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
But I agree with him. It ain't gonna happen. So he's alive. Dean Smith is dead. Okay, see? Yeah, that's right. I knew Dean Smith was dead. Good night, Nate. But no, I think that's the most exciting thing to happen in North Carolina since Michael Jordan. Honestly. Like, I know they've had some really good teams at North Carolina basketball program, and I don't mean any disrespect because I like watching North Carolina. Honestly, I like them more than Duke. Always kind of have. I like their coaches. But Bill is definitely going to run that as an NFL operation. And he even said that with Pat the other day. Like, NFL coaching, NFL nutrition, NFL prep, like It's going to be an NFL program, but at the college level.
Yeah.
Now, my thing is, how is that going to work? Because these are student athletes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, how much of this are you going to water down? Any? They got to go to class.
Yeah, they do.
Still got to follow those rules from the NC2A.
Yep.
That's going to be interesting. I'm curious to see how he's going to do. Because, see, here's the thing. It's not like North Carolina was bad.
No. Mac Brown had that. Mac Brown had him pretty good a couple years ago.
Yeah. I mean, they've had some decent quarterbacks come in and out of there. Drake May, and I think they had
Sam Howell. Sam Howell, and I don't even want to say the one guy's name because that already gives me PTSD as a Bears fan.
Well, Mitch Trubisky didn't play for Mac Brown, I don't think.
No, he didn't, but he was at North Carolina, and he got drafted.
2020, what year? I'm looking up.
But you know what I like though with Bill when he's
UNC
going in,
only went 6-6. I can see why he got fired because they were projected to be up there.
Yeah,
like competing with like Louisville and Syracuse, those teams up there with Miami. How about Miami?
They choked their playoff chances down the stretch.
Oh. What a day! What a
I'm
day
surprised. I'm surprised Mario Cristobal hasn't gotten fired over that.
I don't think he's going to. I think he knows the offense played lights out. That's obvious. We know that.
Yeah.
And I think he's an offensive-minded guy.
He is because he was there at Oregon with, I think, Justin Herbert.
Yeah. So, like, he knows offense. I think Miami and Florida's a little more patient. I think Ohio State's going to be with Ryan Day. To where I think they're going to give Mario a chance to fire his defensive coaches.
Wasn't Cristobal the head coach with Bo Nix at Oregon too, or is that?
No, that was Lanning.
That was Lanning. Okay.
Yeah, that was all Lanning. Because Lanning had Herbert for a year, I want to say.
Was that the year they won the Rose Bowl? Because I thought that was under Cristobal's thing.
I think it was under Lanning. I could be wrong, but I think it was under Lanning.
Okay.
Because I remember him having Herbert maybe for a year, maybe not. I don't know. We'll have to look that up. But yeah, Bo Nix was all Lanning.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
But my thing, what I was gonna finish saying is, my thing is with Bill running this as a NFL type thing. They did bring in Michael Lombardi as kind of the GM.
Yeah. Kind of like what Stanford is doing with Luck. And I think with where college football is right now, with like transfer portal and these high school recruits and everything else you got going on, you kind of need a GM.
Yeah, nowadays you do.
Yeah, because you need more than just a recruiting coordinator. Like, they're not going to... Yes, they're going to be involved with, like, the recruiting stuff. Of course. And I think you're going to see more alumni, like Andrew Luck, kind of be in that role of GM. But there's just something there of, like... The GM is definitely taking more of doing the recruiting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think Luck's going to be good at it. Lombardi's a little bit of a head-scratcher. Because he's been a GM in the NFL. And... wasn't very good.
No, but he's worked with Bill a long time, and they got a good relationship, so I think they can kind of lean off each other still.
That's true. I'm curious to see who he's going to bring in for his staff.
Yeah, I think his son's coming in from Washington, I believe. I think that was one of the things that was rumored.
Well, Steve will be the defensive coordinator for sure, and it's just a head coach. I could see that because I think with Bill's 5-year plan, he's going to build it up, obviously into a juggernaut, I think, but I think Steve is going to take over.
Mm-hmm.
Please, Bill, if you're listening, and you're probably don't hire Josh McDaniels.
No.
For the love of God himself, do not hire Josh McDaniels as your offensive coordinator.
Do not.
Get somebody else. Hell, Joe Judge. Somebody. I mean, somebody that is not Josh McDaniels. Now I can't say Joe Judge because he does special teams, but he was receivers coach anyway, and special teams coordinator. But keep Josh McDaniels away from your team. Because that offense, if it's not Tom Brady running it, is atrocious.
Oh, yeah. We saw that with Mac Jones.
Saw it with Mac Jones. Saw it with Derek Carr. Saw it with Kyle Orton.
And Jacoby Brissett.
Saw it with Sam Bradford. People forget that Josh McDaniels.
Jimmy Garoppolo. Wasn't Garoppolo?
Aiden O'Connell. He's worked with 7 quarterbacks. 7. Not named Tom Brady, by the way. Matt Castle? No, there's 8. Oh, we keep going? I can keep going. Okay. Matt Castle had a good year, but like...
He's got a record of quarterbacks, tell you that much.
No more Josh McDaniels. Stop the experiment. Stop the count.
He should have never got the head coaching job a second time after what happened in Denver the first time. Like, what?
We could do a whole episode on that. And we could probably bring AJ in on that one.
Yeah, that'd be very interesting.
But you know what? While we're here, we're 51 minutes into this conversation. You saw what I grabbed.
Yeah. Let's get our ad in there.
Let's pay some bills here real quick. With our
beautiful sponsor.
With our beautiful sponsor, W Energy. W is a brand of energy drinks designed to be clean, flavorful, and focused on energy. Use code AS15TV, 10% off any order. Go to W.GG to place your order today. I have W. I love it. It's a great product. It's clean for sure. And no crash. But man, you get a lot of caffeine out of it. It's great. Use it all the time. It's good. We also do have other sponsors here. We have other sponsors on the channel. Let me pull the description so I can look at it. All-Star 15 TV does have merch. Go to the website there in the description below. Buy some merch. Buy stuff. Yes. It helps AJ. It helps this channel. A lot of things that happen behind the scenes that you guys don't know about. It helps.
Mm-hmm. It does.
Extreme scoring. That's used during the broadcasts on Tuesdays and Wednesdays with Extreme Motorsports. If you're a league owner and you want something that's simple and effective and not Sim Racer Hub, Extreme Scoring. Only difference is pay for it. The Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast, Wrestling with Nerds podcast. Good shows every week. Go check them out. They're good.
Mm-hmm.
Links are in the description. Let's see. Regeneration Sports Network, Rob Niedermeyer. Those guys over there, they are great. Seeing them over there. Good stuff. And I see that we are live over with the Regeneration Sports Network right now. So that's great.
Appreciate that.
And Drinkin Bros Auto Racing page. That's good stuff. And Falcon Grafix. If you're an iRacer and you need a vehicle wrap, hit them up. Mention All-Star 15 TV when you are getting ready to pay for your wrap and get $5 off your first. That's it. Oh, and AC cages. A cage for your AC unit. If you're in Indianapolis, St. Louis, or the Carolina area, hit them up. Website's in the description. There's a lot of things, if you read the description, there's a lot of cool stuff in there.
There is. So. A lot of people don't read the description, but please take a few seconds to do that.
Take a look at
and
that.
While you're at it, why don't you subscribe on YouTube?
Yeah, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell icon every time we go live. And we do more than just this podcast here. We've got A-Car on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. We've got Extreme Motorsports, Xfinity, and Truck Series. So be sure to check them out. So that's enough for paying bills and sitting here being a salesman for y'all. What else we got going on? You wanted to talk about something.
Yeah. So big news in baseball this week. We had three big news drop in baseball. We'll lead it off. A lot of Mets fans, Rob Niedermeyer, Matt Wolf, a couple of those guys that I know personally, personally. Yeah. Juan Soto going to the Mets from the Yankees for a bajillion-dollar contract. Don't even want to try to even put out the money amount. Don't even want to put even the money amount on it because it's like 14 plus years or whatever, a god awful amount. So yeah, the Mets got Juan Soto. That's gonna help their team try to make a World Series.
Do you think we're going to see another? Who do the Mets pay every year, July 1st?
Oh, Bill Buckner?
Is
it
it
Bill
going to be
Buckner?
another Bobby Bonita?
I don't know. He could be.
How
Has
many
AJ
World Series do you think they got to win in order to make that contract worth it?
according to
Like,
Mets fans that I know, they wanted at least two in like 5 years, 2 in 6 years, something like that.
yeah, I don't
But
know.
you know what I see though?
One player. Now, guys, forgive me. I don't know much about baseball. In basketball, if you get one player that'll really impact your team, the impact's really big. Okay, like you say you're needing a shooter on your team, you go out and get yourself a shooter, and your offense is flowing better because you could get one guy that could really affect that side of the game. Football, it's a team of 11. So you're kind of one player isn't really going to change the outcome, in my opinion, unless it's quarterback. But football, you really don't have as much of an impact, as opposed to basketball. And I feel I could be wrong, I could be out of bounds because I'm not a baseball guy, but I feel like baseball's the same way. It takes more than just one guy that can hit the ball out of the park 30% of the time. And see, that's the only sport where they encourage failure. Because 35% hitting average is really good. Like, what?
My only thing for that statement that you're saying, Juan Soto will make them better. I know he's one guy, but the Mets did make the NLCS where they lost to the Dodgers, so this could be their one piece to try to overthrow the Dodgers. So, my personal opinion is we're going to see Dodgers and Mets.
Good luck.
We're going to see Dodgers and Mets in the NLCS for a long time. It's my
thinking.
So,
interesting. We got some comments on this. Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast. I think it's 8. I'm just gonna say
probably
it's 8.
AJ.
Soto, great hitter, below average fielder, horrible base runner.
Yeah, I mean that's accurate.
I mean, Rob said at least one championship in the first 5 years. That's also from AJ. But if the Mets paid that much for one championship, yikes. I have to agree with that. Because I can't say that AJ's wrong on that.
No.
Like, one championship, and you go pay him $1 billion over 12, 15 years, whatever it is. That's a crap ton of money.
And that's another thing I was gonna kind of talk about. Baseball contracts being 10 plus years is absolutely ridiculous. I think they should put a limit on that crap. It's just like nobody's gonna stay there that long period of time.
Like, isn't there rumors of them getting like a salary cap?
There is rumors, but I don't know how official that's gonna be.
Because when they need a floor, and then they would also need a ceiling.
Right? Yeah.
I've heard the old heads say if you get a salary cap, it ruins the game. But I don't know. I feel like the salary cap would benefit teams like the Reds or the White Sox. I know the White Sox are in a big, but like, if New York and LA is sitting here dominating everything, it's really 2 cities between like 4 organizations, really 3 because the Angels aren't worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wonder what parity in baseball, kind of like how we got parity in the NFL and the NBA. Or am I crazy?
You would think.
Like, because every other sport, doesn't the NHL have a salary cap?
They do.
Like, every other sport has a salary cap. Even the NBA does. Now, the NBA, you can go over the cap and pay a luxury tax.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of teams that do that. A lot of LeBron's teams in the past have done that. On all of his championship teams. I don't care if he's Miami, Cleveland, or LA. But I mean, I feel like that you will want
They baseball basically has a luxury tax, and if you go over the luxury tax, then you have to pay it. So it's like kind of like the NBA, but they don't have a salary cap per se, but they got to pay luxury tax. So the Mets will probably play over the luxury tax, like the Dodgers
will definitely be over that. That is for sure.
Yeah,
that is for sure. For sure.
That's the big thing. It's gonna be the Dodgers and Mets in the NLCS for a long time coming.
A long time.
Yeah. Max Fried, AJ would like this. Max Fried went to the Yankees. He was a good pitcher in Atlanta for a few years.
Oh, yeah, the lefty, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's going to the Yankees. Yankees needed another starting pitcher, so they got one of their guys that they wanted.
Is he going to be like their day one? Because I know they got like 5 or 6 starting pitchers. Is he going to be like their day one? Maybe a day 3 guy?
Probably day 2 or day 3 because Garrett Cole's still there.
Gotcha.
And then the third, there's
Hold
two
on
big
a second.
things.
Let me catch up the comments here. Some teams don't want to spend as well. That's true. Look at the. They just get paid by other teams that are over the luxury tax. MLB has a luxury tax. All that money goes to the other.
Whoa.
Oh. But you know what? Jerry Ryan store. You ain't spending it on your team to get better.
Speaking of that,
Speaking of
that, some news out of the Chicago organizations in Chicago and baseball this week. Well, today, Kyle Tucker is going to the Chicago Cubs. Kyle Tucker has won a couple World Series down in Houston, and he's a pretty decent outfielder for Houston for many years.
Was he part of the trash can stuff in Houston?
I think he was coming up just at that time because he was like 18, 19, 20. He really came on the scene.
Okay, so he was after the trash can one. Okay.
Yeah.
Or sign stealing.
Yes, I believe so. But yeah, Kyle Tucker is going to be one of the new outfielders for the Cubs, so that's going to bolster their outfield. And especially with how Wrigley is, he's going to be hitting a crap ton of home runs in that stadium. So the Cubs offense will get a little bit better. And then the White Sox, Garrett Crochet traded to the Red Sox for prospects. Garrett Crochet was the one bright spot in the entire freaking year for the White Sox. Garrett Crochet was drafted out of Tennessee. He had Tommy John surgery after he debuted in 2020. Fought his way all the way back from Tommy John surgery and was doing pretty darn good last season. But as the White Sox normally do here at the end of the original core that was supposed to be really good for many years, Garrett Crochet is the last guy from the 2020 and 2021 playoff team to be out of the organization, except Luis Robert. Luis Robert's the only one still left. I should backtrack that statement I just made. Luis Robert's the only one left out of that 2020 and 21 team. Everybody else is gone.
That's what I don't understand about sports in general. Why do you gotta blow teams up? You know what I mean? Like, look at the Browns. They have Baker, right? They're doing pretty good with Baker. Then they decide to blow it all up for Deshaun Watson. What do?
They stink.
That's right. Nothing. Like, I don't understand how teams can operate like that. Like, I get it's a business, but like, even with Jordan's teams in the 90s, Jordan would have played to about when Reggie retired. Reggie retired around 05. Jordan would have played to about 05. They would have kept that team together.
Yeah.
And they probably would have won 1 or 2 more titles.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that. I really do.
But
yeah, I don't understand about like baseball in particular. Maybe it's just a weird sport, so I try to understand it. But like, it's just weird that you would like get all these guys to tank forever, get these really good prospects, ball out. You didn't win the World Series, but then after 2 playoff runs to what? Then LDS.
Yeah, wild card in 2020 and the ALDS in 21.
Okay, and then now you're like, yeah, we're just gonna throw it all away. See, I watch my mouth.
Yeah, but the Sox,
it doesn't compute in the brain.
Yeah, and the White Sox got back prospects that are highly touted in Boston's farm system, but as anything with prospects, the White Sox will ruin all of them, and it won't matter at the end of the day. But if they somehow pan out, the White Sox won't be good till 2026 or beyond. So, welcome to another 140 loss season ahead for the Sox. And even after the god-awful season that they had this year, they didn't even get the number 1 overall pick in the draft. They got number 10.
How's that work?
Don't ask me. And if Joe's watching this podcast, him and I can agree on this. Sox fans are very freaking frustrated.
I feel like all Chicago fans are frustrated. Like, how do y'all just put up with the pain?
We get frustrated about everything in Chicago, basically, but especially after what the White Sox did, they're in mediocre inconsistency from 2009 to 2019. They went from a rebuild from 16 to 19. 2020, they made the wild card. We started seeing bright spots. Like, okay, 2020.
Oh, MLB.
We started seeing
lottery.
Yeah, that's the thing. The lottery.
Okay.
It's like,
all right. Sorry.
So
AJ just commented that. Go ahead. Sorry.
So yeah, the Sox were in mediocre from 09 through 16. Then they decided to blow it up. They got all these bunch of prospects in. Some of them started to pan out. 2020, they really took a step forward. They were a year ahead of schedule. Took a step forward. They choked the AL Central Division crown in the last month of the season in 2020. They got a wild card berth. Cool. They choked that series against Oakland. They were up one game to nothing. Lost game 2, lost game 3. They choked that. And then 21 was the year that we all knew, like, okay, 21 is going to be the year. And what'd they do? They kicked ass in 21, won the AL Central Division for the first time since 08, made the playoffs. They choked game 2 against the Astros because Tony La Russa decided to put Craig Kimbrell in and put in Larry Garcia in right field. Yeah, Tony La Russa. That was another mistake. They hired Tony La Russa, where they probably should have hired AJ Hinch, who's the coach of the Tigers. That's another mistake they messed up with. And then, after the blackout game, which brought about a lot of excitement for the Sox, they lost game 4 in blowout fashion at the Cell. That was great. And then after that, you would think, okay, guys, here's what we did. We did this right. We did this wrong. Okay, let's go out and add a few pieces. And 2022 is going to be the year where, we're going to put all this stuff together. The moves that we made in the offseason, even though some of those offseason moves at the time were not the right decisions, but they thought at the time, okay, this is what we need. And 2022 is going to be the year we get past the division series and go to the ALCS and the World Series. That didn't pan out. 23 didn't pan out. And we all saw what happened this year. So after the god-awful stuff the Sox fans got put through for multiple years, to get 2 years of decent baseball, at least we got a division crown out of it, and then go right back to sucking. It's like, what the actual hell? And I'm sorry, but it's just like, it's terrible, man. It's like we got screwed out of this core that was supposed to be around for many years. We were going to get a World Series title out of this thing. I mean, hell, the Cubs got 1 title out of 6 years, whatever that core. I mean, at least they got one. What'd the Sox get? Division crown. That's it. It's like, what the heck, man? I really wanted to say that other word, but I'm not going to. So that's how frustrated I get with this crap, man. That's how frustrated I get.
Catch up from comments here after your rant. AJ said, in baseball, it's all about getting something for players before they walk. Well, if you have a good team, not necessarily it's about the money, but it's about the team, right? To some extent. If you're not going to go be a contender, wouldn't you want to take less money to keep winning rings? That's just part of it. But I get, like, if they're in a bad situation, you got any good players, you do, before you let them walk, because they ain't going to re-sign with you, like, okay, go ahead and trade them. And then he also said, it sounds like the management for the Chicago White Sox will sell everything on 1 or 2 bad years instead of sticking with the plan.
Yeah.
And he thanked you for not swearing.
He needs to sell the team is what he needs to do, but...
Hashtag sell the team. Sell the White Sox, sell the Bulls. Sell it all.
You won't see...
The Bulls haven't been anything in 30 years.
Well, the Bulls injuries choked their playoff chances a couple years in the early 2010s. They should have had a title.
And that's where I say, like in basketball, where I said one player could really change things. That could also come back to bite you in the butt too if you don't have.
And that's exactly what happened
and that's what happened with the Bulls when Derrick Rose got hurt.
Yep, 2012. He was so 2012 was the year, because 2011 they made the Eastern Conference Finals in Miami. They lost. Then they added a few pieces that they thought was going to take them over that hill. And yeah,
And
rest is
it
history.
worked somewhat. Like they were still really good, and then Rose got hurt.
And a game
that was a fun series though in 2011 between the Pacers and the Bulls there in that playoff series. That was fun.
And that's a game too. That game 1 against Philly in 12 when they were up that many points. That late in the game, take him out. Take him out. Just don't leave him in there. But can't go back and change it now.
It's kind of been the problem with Thibodeau.
Yeah, Thibodeau never. That was.
I've noticed just not just his stop in Chicago, but like in Minnesota and New York as well. Like when they're up big, he just there's a time in sports, especially in sport basketball, especially when you know late in the game you're going to win, especially when you're up by 30 or 40 points, where you just bench everybody.
Yeah.
Keep everybody healthy. Get them on to the next game. But Thibodeau is one of those guys where he's kind of like Saban, he's kind of like Belichick in a football sense where I can respect this, where you don't want to let your foot off the gas. But if you know your depth is good enough, you can afford to put your second unit in there that's supposed to be just as good as your first if you made all those upgrades, right? But, I mean, you know, one of those things. I really liked Thibodeau as a coach when he was with the Bulls. I was really hoping that he would have stayed there, but I get why.
Yeah.
I thought he was. You guys still got Billy Donovan?
We do, and he hasn't done crap either.
Oh, the Bulls are not.
Well, they're like the Sox. They're at this point now where they're stuck in mediocre and they don't know what to do. They don't know if they want to keep this same core of players that they've had since 2020, 21, something like that. But then they don't want to blow it up fully. So it's like you're stuck.
Okay, AJ just made a comment because he's an he said I like Thibodeau in New York, but his player management is scary sometimes. We have seen people get hurt for no reason. And honestly, that's just Thibodeau because he's very old school. He's used to just running his team into the ground.
Yeah,
I mean it's just how he is. I hate to say it because I think he's a great coach, but yeah, if he would learn more of the player management side and the load management side a little bit, not to where it's ridiculous where these guys in the middle of their prime aren't playing back to backs. You know what I mean? Where they'll play one game and they're like, "Oh, it's a back to back. I'm resting." Like if he would figure out the load management in the game and manage that a little better, I think he'd be coachable.
Yeah,
but it's one of those things that he hasn't learned it, and I don't think he's going.
No, not now. No.
Yeah, no, definitely not now. Let's see. What else do we got? Oh, IndyCar news. I want to throw this out there. New chassis for 2027. With that chassis update news, Drive Rival Racing is rumored again for the 5th time in like 20 years that they're going to field a full-time car as early as 2027 with the new chassis. I'd love to see Drive Rival Racing. It'd be a local team. That's why I'm for it. To come back full-time to the Indy. Want to see it happen.
So what's the specifics on this new chassis that they're...
Well, actually, they revealed it at PRI this week. We look into it. While I'm looking into that, we saw that Trackhouse announced that they are doing a Rolex 24 entry. Let me pull that up.
Nothing. Why are you looking that up? Nothing's really come out with the lawsuit this week, so that's still ongoing as of now.
Still ongoing. Yeah, NASCAR's trying to pull out. The teams are saying, nah, you know. It did get moved from one judge to another. I don't know the judges' names. Sorry, but it did get moved to a different judge. So, the Rolex 24 this year, Trackhouse, of course, as we know, has been in the Cup Series since 21 and joined the MotoGP grid in 24 this past year. So they have got, just as I'm just going to read this quote here from IMSA. We set out to become an international company with a global brand, and we took a big step in 2024 by adding MotoGP, Justin Marks said. Today marks another step at Trackhouse as Trackhouse enters one more prestigious motorsports series and one of the biggest races in the world with two Americans, Zillage and Katie, and two New Zealanders, Gisbergen and McLaughlin. So they've got Connor Zillage, Ben Katie, Shane Van Gisbergen, and Scott McLaughlin.
What a lineup. What a lineup though for the 24. That is impressive.
They're winning.
They're gonna win.
They're gonna win the GT the GT class. If they don't win, it's a disappointment.
Are they gonna be in the Daytona section or the pro section?
I don't know if they're gonna be pro or amateur. I'm not sure. I would assume pro. Because Connor Zillage is kind of a pro now.
Well, didn't Zillage win the 24 last year?
Yeah, he did. So he's going for 2 in a row. Katie, I think, has won it a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
And he's always been one of those guys where he kind of does a double between LMP2 and GT3. So I'm not surprised.
What a lineup, though. I mean,
that is a great lineup. It's phenomenal. Like, and they're by the way, number 91, and it's a blue and yellow car.
Nice.
So it's actually pretty cool.
I was gonna say we're about what is it now? About almost a month out from the 24.
Yeah. We're actually pretty much exactly a month out for the iRacing event, and about the same amount of time for the real world stuff too. So racing season off season is not very long, and it kicks back up.
No, it's not.
And
especially once you get done with the holidays here.
Yeah, exactly. So. It's coming back pretty quick. Okay, so team owners get a first look at the new IndyCar chassis. Still gonna be a spec car. Still gonna be designed by Dallara. If Joe's listening, or if any of my IndyCar friends are listening, I'm tired of Dallara having a monopoly in our series. We need to have more than one car manufacturer. That's my preference. We need to bring Lola back, or Cosworth, somebody. We need to have more chassis manufacturers, kind of like what Formula One has. We need to bring that to IndyCar. So this was as of December 10th. So just before, just before PRI started. PRI started on Thursday, I want to say, Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay.
And this was announced on Tuesday this week. So, Penske Entertainment revealed the first rendering of its proposed 2027 IndyCar during a private teleconference with team owners in October. The meeting between IndyCar parent company and entrants covered a range of topics, highlighted by the sharing of Penske's suggested replacement for the current Dallara DW12. Of course, the DW12 chassis with honor of Dan Weldon. It was going to be the IR12. So really, when they say it's the IR18, it's really just an IR12 with a new body on it, essentially. So, team owners were sent an email to most, but not all. One team owner was sent an email to most. That's sensitive. Come on. Marshall, help me out here, buddy. So, I guess the team owners are asking for a potential do-over of this chassis.
Okay.
So we'll see how it goes. I think there will be a chassis in 2027. I think we'll start seeing, because it's still kind of in the concept stage right now, because it's 2024. I think they'll figure that out within the first 2 quarters. I think right around May, maybe a little bit after the Indy 500 this year, in 25. We will see something a little more with the chassis. They'll get it off of just paper. I think they'll start building it. And really, the tail end of 25, the rest of 25, and then all 26. You're really going to see a lot of testing, a lot of R&D for the new chassis. If it all works out for them to release it in 27. I don't know if they're going to release it in 27. We've seen IndyCar screw this up before with the hybrid stuff and other things. I don't have a whole lot of faith in IndyCar. I still have to be faith in IndyCar. So,
yeah.
Over how, not Roger J. Penske, but everybody knows.
Yep. Mark Miles. Yep.
I think. Oh, and Chip Ganassi today, I wasn't able to go, but Chip Ganassi this morning had a garage sale at their headquarters from 7 to noon for all of their Indy cars they had left over. Really, all their team merch they've had left over the past few decades. So anything from nose cones on Indy cars to crew shirts to you name it. Selling it all. I didn't get anything, but I thought that
Nice.
I
think that's about it, right?
So Jonkos Hollinger adds veteran race car designer and engineer Will Phillips to its IndyCar program. And they've also added David Brown as their new technical director. So that's good. That's good moves for them. They're getting a little bit better. They signed Stingray Robb, which I know there's some people that aren't a fan of him, but they did sign him, and he's kind of their guy of the future. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I'm interested to see if the new chassis works out for those guys. I really want it to, but we'll see what happens. So, but that's really all the IndyCar news I had in regards to that. Front Row announced a concept this week. I hope you saw for Noah Gragson.
No, I did not see it.
I saw something about Front Row releasing a number 4 car with Rush truck centers on it for. I don't know if that was just a troll page. I don't know if that's factual or fiction. I didn't really see it. I mean, I saw the car. It looked like a cage, SHRC. But yeah, even AJ said that was a scary group for the Trackhouse deal. So
yeah,
that's a good line. That's one of the best lineups that we've seen in GTD in a long time, just period. Because normally you see a lineup like that in like LMP2 or in the GTD class. So, and I think it's good that Trackhouse is filling the car in IMSA. I don't know if they're going to do more other than the 24. I'm not sure. There's one guy that I would have loved to see entered in that car with those guys.
Who's that? That'd have been nice.
Because he's a pretty good road racer.
Yeah. Did you see recently that Verstappen was out there testing Acura?
I did see that. I think that's really going to be what he's going to be doing after he decides to call it quits in F1. He's going to do a lot of sports car racing. I don't know if that's going to be in the WEC. I don't know if that's going to be IMSA.
He said he wants to do Daytona at some point.
Bring him in. I don't care who gets him. Bring him in.
I'd like to see what he would do at like Daytona, Sebring, Glen, or Le Mans.
Yeah, absolutely. No, he's definitely a world-class driver. I don't know about world-class racer, but definitely world-class driver. That's what I say about F1. They have really good drivers, but they don't have any good. You have really good. To me, after watching the Formula One with y'all the last couple of years on and off, Fernando Alonso is the best racer.
Oh yeah,
in the series because he still knows how to pass people. In F1, you just pass by strategy. And I don't know if it's because of the car. I don't know if it's because of the rules. Not sure. Don't really follow Formula One that much, but car's hard to drive, and let's see who the best driver is. You know, I didn't take any notes, and we're an hour and 25 minutes into this thing. We just need to improv this more often.
Yeah, right.
Anybody in chat, if you guys are still watching, thank you to the 4 viewers that are watching, listening. And you got anything else, Mike?
Well, I just was gonna tell our viewers today. I don't think you've seen yet, but Xfinity Series champion. Thank you to Caleb Lamb, by the way, getting this video. Justin Allgaier shouted out Warrior Enterprises today.
Oh, nice.
What a shout out.
Thanks for spoiling it.
I was gonna post that to our social media here just in a minute, but you know.
Let me watch it before you post it.
I didn't want to spoil it for you, but it's something I kind of want to tell the viewers at home.
That was cool. Yeah, he went out to Springfield today and met with Justin Allgaier. That was cool.
So yeah, take a look at it first because I'm going to post it to Warrior Enterprises Facebook page, and I'm going to share it on my personal media as well.
Anything else other than that?
No, I think that's it. I'm looking forward to the week of college football ahead and the holidays coming
college
up.
basketball picked back up. IU lost to Nebraska. Shocker.
Kentucky went out and actually beat Gonzaga last week, which was very surprising. They beat them in overtime, which they were down at halftime. They fought all the way back.
That was an impressive win over Gonzaga for sure. Because Gonzaga's pretty good. I kind of wish that they would move up in conferences a little bit. I'd like to see them try to be in the Mountain West because, ironically enough, I talk about Mountain West not being really competitive for football, even though they got some really good teams in there. Their basketball stuff is no joke. They got some really good basketball teams. A lot of good basketball programs. And I think Steve Alford is coaching Nevada, the Wolfpack, not UNLV. He's been there for a couple of years, so. But that was really all I had today. Indiana basketball sucks. I lose. Google me. That's the Mike Woodson way.
We Kentucky also beat Colgate this week on Tuesday, which is not surprising.
They
also, we beat Toothpaste, and we beat Louisville, our big rivals. Kentucky Louisville rivalry, beat them today.
Bring back the IU. That's a big one.
2012, that was a good year. You guys got us on the. You got
and then y'all beat us March.
Yep. That was a good year though.
Okay. Well, that's all I have for this evening. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. However you may be listening, Facebook, TikTok. Well, I don't know how to get the TikTok stuff going. Oh, UConn beat Gonzaga.
There we go. Good for them.
So, but that's gonna pretty much do it for us here this evening. Thank you guys so much for watching, listening, and we will see you in the next episode.
Good night.